We have Minister of State for Commerce and Industry, Dr. Sudarsana Natchiappan, who is on with us on the Newshour debate tonight. Dr. Subramanian Swamy, BJP leader. Dr. Ezhilan Naganathan, I hope I pronounced the name correctly. Dr. Naganathan is founder of youth.org. He's joining us from Chennai. TKS Elangovan, Member of Parliament of the Lok Sabha. And my first question is to Dr. Dayan Jayatilleka, a former diplomat and ambassador to the United Nations at Geneva, former Sri Lankan diplomat. Dr. Jayatilleka, this footage which we are showing here today, which is the new Channel 4 documentary, raises serious questions about the manner in which Priya, the television anchor, considered by some people to be part of the LTTE's publicity machine, how she was treated and killed by the Sri Lankan army. You can't deny this, can you? You'll have to investigate this and perhaps own up that these kind of things did happen.
Well, I haven't seen the footage. I heard the voiceover. I have no reason to doubt the authenticity of this. I'm not questioning that, but I don't represent the government anymore. This, if it is true, is horrifying. It is one of the many horrors in a 30-year war. No side in that civil war has a monopoly of either virtue or vice. And eventually, societies have to deal with these things. In Bangladesh, it has taken 40 years. In Brazil, 40 years. In Argentina, 30 years, 40 years. It takes a long time. It may not take 40 years. It perhaps shouldn't in Sri Lanka. But every society has to go through a process, reach a point of maturation.
No, are you trying to, Dr. Jayatilleka, are we avoiding the straightforward question which I am asking here today, that the footage which I have shown, and I don't look at this as a societal problem, and I do not agree that countries need to go through processes of evolution, go through these experiences in order to evolve. I disagree with that point of view. She is captured alive. Let's get Dr. Naganathan in.
I disagree, but that's the historical record.
No, but maybe
Bangladesh 40 years, Brazil 40 years.
But that
reason.
Well, this is a young lady. She's a young lady. No. Once, Dr. Naganathan.
Arnab. 4 years after the war.
No. 1 second. I will pick this up even if it comes 400 years after the war.
Time.
She's captured alive. She's not engaging in combat at the point of capture. How does she die when she is not engaged in combat? Dr. Naganathan wants to rebut you. Dr. Naganathan from Chennai, please.
Yeah, and Arnab, you see the self-appointed commission by Sri Lanka, which is the LLRC, it's nearly from 2009 to 2013. No single military general so far has been put into trial or punished. It shows the plight of LLRC, a self-appointed conduction of Sri Lankan government. All we are pressing is to bring in an international independent war crime investigations monitored by UN. Then only you can have justice rendered to the people there. Let the mistakes done by both LTT as well as by the Sri Lankan army. We want an independent international war crime investigations monitored by UN.
No, but this, you know what you'll face.
As in the case of Sudan, as in the case of Darfur.
No, you know what you'll face there, the kind of response you'll get from Subramanian Swamy, for example, who's joining us from Delhi. Subramanian Swamy's straight-faced response to that is going to be that the LTT has not done things that it would be proud of as well. So you are backing somebody who has a worse record than the Sri Lankan army. But let's get Subramanian Swamy in. Subramanian Swamy, this particular footage that we are showing of the capture of Priya and the manner in which her last moments is very similar to the questions raised about how Prabhakaran's 12-year-old son Balachandran, and I'm sure you know those pictures there, of that young boy sitting, offered food in a green bunker, and I'll show that pictures here right now. And the way in which this young boy was killed. You want us to ignore all this, not talk about it, just for strategic interests, Dr. Swamy?
What is your question, by the way?
My question.
No, you see, go on.
My question is that my question is: Would you in any way be blind to the shocking abuses of human rights which have been carried out against the Tamil people by the Sri Lankan army?
First of all, First of all, if you hadn't cowardly disowned the authenticating the tape, I could have taken this tape seriously. You are saying that we cannot authenticate it. Now, who's to authenticate it? Under the normal jurisprudence, it's the person who presents the evidence to a court or anywhere else. They have to authenticate it. I have not seen any authentication done anywhere. All I see is a woman. The soldiers very sympathetically give her a, wait a minute, now you want to hear your own voice, then you can speak.
That's what we want, an international independent.
But I'm telling you what I saw.
What did you see?
Now you see here there is the intervention. The UNHCR has rejected it. So you are, who are you representing? You are not representing the elected officials of Jaffna. The Chief Minister has now invited the Indian Prime Minister to visit. So
I'm not talking about the Prime Minister's
visit.
Please answer the question, Mr. Subramanian.
So let me first of all,
Dr. Swamy.
Otherwise there is no debate.
Dr. Swamy.
You have not authenticated the tape.
Dr. Swamy.
You first take a stand.
Dr. Swamy, I very much know how to take a stand. Please,
Have you got any evidence that it is
Dr. Swamy.
Have you asked the people
Dr. Swamy, can I ask you something? Can I ask you something? First of all, what you call cowardly is standard journalistic practice.
You asked me. You asked me a question. You asked me a question only if you want my reply. Otherwise, don't ask me a question.
Dr. Swamy, I'm asking you a question because I want your reply, but unfortunately, I cannot make my question the kind of question that you will necessarily like.
Why you don't let me reply? You don't reply. You just want to hear your own voice.
Dr. Swamy, you forgot the pictures of Prabhakaran's 12-year-old son when he's sitting with food in his hand? The boy is looking at something. Does it not make you ask questions?
I asked you the same question. I asked you the same question. Can you authenticate it? You said no. They have authenticated. How can I believe it? I want to see the evidence. There's no evidence produced.
This is a serious situation in which
this is an unauthenticated tape. I cannot take the word of the English channel which has produced similar tapes for Kashmir and Manipur.
You will not accept.
You are pandering to them.
Your problem is, Dr. Swamy, that you've taken a fixed position. When I'm asking you a question.
Your problem is you don't listen. You have a problem.
I don't have a problem.
Can you authenticate this tape?
Dr. Swamy, I am asking you.
I am asking.
Dr. Swamy, you are.
An independent investigation.
Dr. Swamy, open an independent investigation.
Which independent investigation? Which independent investigation?
Only one.
I have not seen. Name
it. By the UN.
Give me the document.
We'll bring in the UN to do so.
I know enough about forensic science.
We'll have the UN to be monitored. We'll bring in the UN.
UN is rejected.
Let me tell you one thing. Dr. Swamy.
UN is not rejected. UN is not rejected. Don't say wrong facts, Mr. Swamy.
Dr. Swamy. Dr. Swamy.
Gave a very strong press
I'll get Mr. Elangovan in now, please. 1 minute. Mr. Elangovan has not spoken. Dr. Natchiappan has not spoken.
Hello.
Dr. Swamy has accused us. Dr. Swamy has chosen, most unfortunately, to shoot the messenger in this case. Dr. Swamy, what you describe as cowardly, by the way, and allow me to complete. You say,
I want authentication.
1 minute, Dr.
Don't say I shot the messenger.
Can I have a word in? My point is...
No. Well, he cannot misquote me and you can...
Dr. Swamy, you know something. There is something called the Geneva Convention. You cannot allow, even if it's a prisoner of war, there are ways in which you treat them.
I will also educate you. As usual, you are ignorant. Geneva Convention doesn't apply to anti-insurgency operations. You don't even know that minimum.
Dr. Subramanian Swamy.
Come here and what do you want? Your half-baked knowledge and try to pass it off.
Dr. Swamy, what all will you reject? If you refuse to accept the Geneva Convention, do you also refuse to accept the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights?
Now don't twist. Don't twist.
The problem is...
You said Geneva Convention. Geneva Convention does not apply to insurgency operations.
So does the UN Declaration of Human Rights apply to them?
Your ignorance is so profound.
40,000 people who have been massacred.
Your ignorance is so profound.
Dr. Swamy...
You can't authenticate.
What about the
Swamy, you will not...
What about the point by Balachandran? Was he an insurgent?
Without knowing what Geneva Convention is.
You know something, by the way, the United Nations Human Rights Council, Dr. Swamy, which first of all, I totally disagree with your fact that the Geneva Convention does not apply here. A lot of people disagree with you. I also, 1 minute, don't, please. Second point, The UN Declaration of Human Rights says everyone, it's all right to call a person an ignorant person if you disagree with him, but I completely disagree with your... That's all right, Dr. Swamy, don't get personal with me. My question is, according to the UN...
You know what Geneva Convention is?
Dr. Swamy, do you know what the UN Declaration of Human Rights says? Everyone is entitled to in full equality to a fair and public hearing by an independent and impartial tribunal in the determination of his rights and obligations and of any criminal charge against him.
Come on now. UNHCR is the agency to decide that, and they decided that it's a Sri Lanka government.
The UNHRC is called upon the Sri Lankan government to conduct an independent and credible investigation into allegations of violations of human rights.
Not an independent inquiry, a fair inquiry.
An independent and credible investigation. Read the report, sir.
Come here and give a speech.
I get in, at this point, I get in Dr. E.M. Sudarsana Natchiappan. Dr. Sudarsana Natchiappan, the question is on the footage. You saw a report. Where do you stand?
Actually, it's a very moving one. When we see it, the Indians, more specifically Tamilians, are very much influenced. Even looking at the cinema and also the serials, they used to weep at the scenes and have the emotions in every actions in the film or in the serial. TV serials. But at the same time, I request you, kindly don't stretch too much for 4 years to bring a matter to be settled. Whatever may be the wrongs which have been done by certain group, that should be punishable. And there is already a United Nations Human Rights Council has seized of the matter. Before them, we have to present the entire evidence and see that there is a proper inquiry is done through the system which is created by United Nations. Already the United Nations Secretary General has appointed an independent committee. They have gone immediately after the war and they have submitted the report that 6 counts LTT has committed the human rights error. At the same time, 5 counts the military has done it. That report should also be analyzed, and we should not go on stretching this instead of helping the people who are to be rehabilitated, who are living...
So, Mr. Natchiappan, basically you want to bury this under the carpet. You want to bury this under the carpet, let's get TMS Elangovan in. You want to bury it.
Never.
That's what you are saying. You are saying move on.
What we expect is
you are saying move on.
Justice.
You are saying move on.
We want to have the justice.
I am asking you, you are saying 4 years have passed.
You have to get the justice. But at the same time, don't live on this piece of evidence alone.
Mr. Natchiappan, why does your party keep happening?
They have to get back the houses which they have been evicted, and they are living as refugees in Tamil Nadu. 2.5 lakh people are suffering. You take a film on that and also show it how human rights violations are there.
First of all, please
don't make it like that for 4 years. Don't touch in a matter like this.
Mr. Natchiappan, 1 minute, please. See, I'm not raising my voice, you are raising your voice. Today, I don't know why Subramanian Swamy, you're all getting very aggressive with me here tonight. I have a right to ask my questions.
Why? Because you don't let us answer.
Well, I think if you want to hear the questions, if you want to hear the questions, Dr. Swamy, it's a farcical thing that India...
Why? You only ask questions.
I can only ask questions. The point here is simply this. I am telling you, Dr. Natchiappan, this is not a film. This is not a movie. I think when you begin by talking like that, you are insulting the sentiments of a lot of people. This is not a film. This is something which has happened. And I thought your party always keeps saying that you cannot get over the Gujarat riots unless you actually accept who's responsible for the Gujarat riots and you hold responsibility. And you say 10, 11 years after that it is still relevant and perhaps you have a point. Then how do you say, let's not talk about what happened in Sri Lanka 4 years later? How do you have double standards there, Mr. Natchiappan? How can you? Are there not human beings everywhere? Are there not human beings everywhere? So please, no, don't have double standards, Mr. Natchiappan.
Come out with the truth. Come out with the truth.
The truth can only... Dr. Elangovan. Dr. Elangovan, I want your response to Dr. Natchiappan, Subramanian Swamy and our other panelists.
No, this has revealed the lies perpetrated by the government of Sri Lanka, that a person was killed in combat and not by the arrested by the army and killed. She was misused by the army personnel. See, now when a new revelation comes, it agitates the people who were supporting the Sri Lanka. That is what is happening in this discussion also now. My question is, this is an ample proof that Sri Lanka has been claiming a falsehood, stating that most of the people were killed in ambush while fighting. It is not the case. Many people were taken away by the Sri Lankan military, like the son of Prabhakaran and like this lady Isai Priya. They were killed. They were misused, tortured and killed. This the government of Sri Lanka should accept. Who should authenticate this video? I don't know. Mr. Dr. Swamy has been claiming that it should be authenticated. Who should? Does he want Rajapaksa to authenticate this video?
Oh, that's a counter. You want Rajapaksa to authenticate the video?
There should be a proper investigation.
One who presented the thing, he must produce the authentication certificate. It can't be DMK.
No. There should be an investigation. What all we expect is an independent investigation into these affairs.